All right, this meeting will be recorded and the PowerPoint, along with any other details, will be emailed out in the next few days. Can everyone confirm that it's being recorded? Did you get a little message? Okay, cool. So this first slide has just a bunch of tasks that I'll go through very quickly. So if you haven't already, both new and returning members should fill out the registration form. You should have received an email from the Pre-Dental Club on August 30th. I will send the link to the form in our GroupMe later, just in case. As for dues, we're still charging dues, but at a reduced rate. Although we won't be having in-person social events this semester, we will continue to provide a dense amount of information and opportunities, which we will certainly talk about later. During the meeting, feel free to use the chat function to ask questions. One of the executive board members will hopefully be able to see that and respond. I also highly recommend scanning the GroupMe QR code to join the Pre-Dental Club group. I will project this slide again at the end of the meeting in case you missed anything. Let's see. Here we go. So, goals of the club for this year. So first is to be an accessible resource for anyone and everyone. Whether you are dead set on pursuing dentistry or still questioning your future, we are here for all of you equally. As a club, we pride ourselves in being as open, inclusive, and welcoming as possible. We value whatever point in your journey that you have reached. We hope that the club will provide you with some clarity and guidance when navigating this unique path. So the next goal that we have for this year is to provide opportunities for you to explore the field of dentistry, obviously. We will be discussing both macro and micro topics, from prerequisites and letters of recommendation to the DAT and the application process. We always invite and encourage different perspectives, outlooks, and experiences. In future meetings, we will be listening to different dental perspectives, whether that be from members, dentists, professors, or the executive board. And just a little PSA that I want to make to all of the new members: it's okay to not be 100% certain of your future. This club is a great spot to begin your journey of discovering your passion. To all of the returning members, we will continue to be an expansive resource for you as you begin studying for the DAT, continue taking difficult science courses, strengthen your interview skills, and ultimately apply to dental school. For all of the non-traditional members, we see you and are here to help you in any way. We understand that the route to dental school is not a one-size-fits-all, and we value having an array of differing viewpoints. And so the last goal that we have as a club is to challenge you to think critically, lead empathetically, and question norms. It's very easy to become heavily invested in our academics, but don't forget to take a step back every once in a while to re-examine the larger picture. That was a lot. Okay, so I'd like to introduce our 2020 Executive Board. If you ever have a personal question, feel free to email or message us individually. As an e-board, we want to create an environment that is super approachable and welcoming, even if it's through a screen. So with that said, I am Lily, obviously. I'm the president. I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm majoring in public health with a minor in Russian. My hobbies include educating myself and others, cooking vegan meals, and being outside. My dental aspirations are to one day become a public health dentist, which is one who addresses oral health disparities, the lack of representation within the dental field, and the policy aspect of dentistry. My advice to all of you, I have a lot of things, so bear with me. First is that there is more than one route to dentistry. Like I said before, there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all path to this field. Next is that there is more than one way to impact people's oral health. Like I just said, I'm interested in the policy aspect and addressing things like the lack of access and representation. So there's a lot of ways to impact people. Next is to take the time to ensure you are pursuing this field for the right reasons. That is pretty self-explanatory, and I trust that all of you know what the right reasons are for yourself. And then lastly is that not all of your experiences need to exclusively relate to dentistry. And by that, I mean, dental schools are looking for well-rounded, holistic applicants. So don't limit yourself to only volunteering or doing extracurricular activities solely related to dentistry. You are free to do anything and everything that you want. All right, next.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I hope. Yeah. Okay. I'm Erin. I'm the vice president. I'm from Canton, Ohio, and I'm a biochemistry major with a minor in public health. Some of my favorite hobbies include spending time with my friends. I like to cook and bake, and I like to walk outside. My dental aspirations are to eventually own my own practice that serves the community that I live in and the best that it can, however that may be. And my advice for pre-dental members would just be it's really easy to get caught up in other people's scores and extracurriculars and compare your application to other people's and your resume to every other pre-dental student's resume. But just try and focus on yourself and do the best that you can do while you're here at Ohio State. Yeah, so I'd say try and enjoy the process as much as you can. I know it's stressful, but there's a lot of good things along the way.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm the service chair this year. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. My major is biology and I'm also minoring in global public health. Some of my favorite hobbies are going for runs, but those usually turn into walks, reading, shopping, and baking. My dental aspirations are to serve my community in and out of the office, while also creating an environment that is welcoming to all, and through that, like, uplifts the lives of others. So, and then my advice for pre-dental members is to get involved in, like, on campus or like your community early on. Like, I know that's something I regretted doing or not doing. Not only is it important for dental school, but it's a good way of like finding your passions and experiencing new things, and then just like having fun throughout your time in undergrad, because it's important to take time for yourself and enjoy your time here. And then lastly, one thing I wish I knew was that biology wasn't the only major to go to dental school. So like I don't know, like if you're not happy in the major you're in, like try to find one that you're interested in and aligns with your passions.
Hi everyone, I'm Mella and I am the media chair this year. So I'm from Columbus and I am a human nutrition major with a French minor. And some of my favorite hobbies, I love to dance, I like to travel, and then I'm super into like DIY and like crafty projects. My dental aspirations are to educate and bring awareness to issues in the medical field, to inspire others and be of guidance to people who want to go down a similar pathway as me. And then if I decide to specialize, I would love to open a pediatric practice. And so my advice for pre-dental members is to work on your own timeline and give yourself credit for how far you have already come. I think it's super easy to compare yourself to other people who you feel are maybe like ahead of you. But I think it's important to remember that like it's okay not to be in a rush. It's okay to take your time to do these things. And I think also a lot of times we don't give ourselves credit for how amazing we are, for how much we've already done. Like the fact that we all go to Ohio State is an achievement as itself. So just remember to give yourself credit for the things that you have done, and then just continue to work hard on the things that you want to do.
Hi guys, my name is Joanna. I'm from Solon, Ohio, which is like a suburb of Cleveland. My major is biology. I'm minoring in business, and some of my favorite hobbies are traveling, watching new TV shows, and painting. And my dental aspirations are to continually improve the oral health and general wellness of people in my community, whether that's now or in the future once I start working as a dentist. And my advice would be to get involved with this community. I definitely was terrified of all of this coming into it at as a freshman, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. And I just have to say that the whole journey is so much better when you have people going through the same thing as you. So don't be afraid to reach out. I would take advantage of the cohort groups, which we'll mention in a bit. And definitely, if you're ever feeling nervous about anything, you can always reach out to one of the executive members. We are all here for you, and we are more than happy to help.
I'd like to start by actually thanking everyone for showing up today. I feel like we have, I think, 95 participants, which is a great number, I think, for our first Zoom meeting. But I am the treasurer. I'm Mitchell Weisgarber, and I'm from a small town called Ironton, Ohio. My major is exercise science, and I'm minoring in business. I like to travel and play the guitar, really do anything outside. And my dental aspirations, like many others, are become a business owner and create a trusted practice in the community. Advice for pre-dental members is advice that I got, and it was, in general, things usually work out fine. So don't allow past bad experiences hinder your future. A lot of us can get caught up on one bad grade that we have, which is just not necessary. So have fun, meet as many people as you can, and focus on achieving your goals.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sasha. Wait, am I muted? No, I think I'm good. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a health sciences major. My minor is biology. My favorite hobbies are running, trying new foods, and just hanging out with my friends. For dental aspirations, I really want to contribute to finding solutions for more accessible care, kind of in policy work, and just to be a positive influence in my patients' lives. And my advice for pre-dental members, I think it's pretty common to what everybody else has been saying, is don't compare yourself to other people. That's a dangerous path. You don't want to go down it. Everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. Just focus on being the best that you can be and improving yourself. So, yeah, that's it.
Hey everyone, my name's Taylor. I'm the fundraising chair this year, and I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and my major is a little different. It's dental hygiene. I enjoy hiking, working out, playing with my golden retriever, whose name is Barrett, and he might be popping up in the screen here in a minute. And I love spending time with my family and my friends and playing on the OSU Club softball team. I just honestly aspire to be a personable dentist, able to empathize with all of my patients, and just to educate them pretty well-roundedly about their care and like their oral health and the importance of that they cherish that, not only for themselves, but for their family and friends as well. And yeah, I just want to have their best interests at heart and see them through a lifetime of oral health. So advice, it's also a little lengthy, but hopefully it's not too cheesy. It's always beneficial to have fun, but don't let yourself get so invested at the plan that you're afraid of, like invested in your plan that you're just too afraid to change. So like everyone was saying, you know, if you go into with one major and you find, you know, this isn't it for me, just don't be afraid of going down a different path just because it might be a little different. So just take life one step at a time and celebrate the little goals that you set for yourself, because like other people have said, it's easy to kind of just go on by without celebrating what you've already accomplished, and just create time for the ones that you care about and always do what makes you happy.
Hello everyone, my name is Catherine and I am the ODA liaison, which stands for Ohio Dental Association. I'm from Napoleon, Ohio, which is near Bowling Green, Toledo area. My majors are bio and microbiology, and I love to explore Columbus. I love to thrift. love me a good deal, gardening, and also playing with my cat Phoebe. In the future, I'd love to make dentistry more accessible in my future community, providing care for those who haven't received it or like have had poor quality of care, and would also love to build great relationships with my future patients and coworkers. Some of my advice: this career path is definitely hard. You need to surround yourself with people who support and motivate you, and I hope that you can find those people here in this club. I know this club has definitely shaped my college experience, and I love my friends in this club. So I'm so grateful, and just remember that you're unique and you're special, and just use your strengths to your advantages.
Thank you, everybody. So if you have a general question, feel free to email our club account. The Gmail is right there. If you don't receive a response within about a day, feel free to email any executive board member. And like I said, if you have a personal question, feel free to reach out to any of us. We will each also be hosting an office hour at some point this semester. So stay tuned for more information. Okay.
All right, so I am leading the cohort group this year, and if you are new to the club, the cohort groups are groups of about 10 students with 2 leaders, usually upperclassmen, and we'll try and pair up first years with third years and second years with fourth years, just so that your leaders will know the answers to your questions. And it's a great way to just connect with other pre-dental students, whether they're at the same point in the journey as you or if they're ahead of you. They'll be able to give you advice, and they're super helpful. And we're hoping that they'll still be helpful even though we're not in person. You can have Zoom meetings, or you guys will have your own group me that you can communicate in. So hopefully they'll be super helpful. And the leaders we have already asked about, but if you would like to be placed in a cohort group, if you're an underclassman, upperclassman, whatever, just sign up on the next slide using the link to a Google form, and it'll ask you just a few questions, but hopefully you ask to be placed in one, because it'll be a great way to meet new people and ask any questions that you have.
I'll leave this slide up for about 10 seconds, but like it says, this link will be in the next email, so don't worry if you miss anything. All right, so just a very brief tentative, emphasis on tentative, timeline of the year. So obviously today is just the introduction of the year. The next meeting, we will be doing a dental school prerequisite 4-year plan type meeting, as well as a student panel of the differing majors and minors. And it was definitely a trend throughout the introductions that it's important to find a major or a minor that fits you and is something you're passionate about. The meeting after that will be a presentation from our previous advisor, Terry. The upperclassmen or older members probably know who that is, but for the younger members, Terry now works at OU, Ohio University, and he unfortunately had to leave us last year, but he'll be back for a little meeting. He's amazing, and we'll talk about leadership and just building upon yourself to become the best dental care provider you can. And then we'll also do the t-shirt competition, which is super fun. And even though we are virtual, I think that everyone would appreciate to have some sort of uniting factor through this. And maybe we'll even propose doing masks if that's something people are interested in. Next meeting will be letters of recommendation breakdown, as well as a resume building type of curating your resume, building it via leadership opportunities and kind of things along that line. The next meeting, hopefully we will have a presentation from Dr. Hamamoto, who will give us a breakdown of the dental school curriculum and maybe even a dental student panel. That might be a little ambitious, but we'll see. The following meeting will be the DAT presentation / a DAT student panel so that we can listen to differing perspectives, because it's easy to get overwhelmed and to forget that everyone does their own thing and has their own path. There will be no meeting, obviously, on the day before Thanksgiving, and then the last meeting of the semester I'm hoping we can recruit someone who is on the National Health Service Corps scholarship in dental school, which is really cool. Basically, by serving underserved communities, you can receive a scholarship to dental school. And then also we might be having a PAT breakdown from a current dental student. And if you don't know what the PAT is, that's okay. We will learn about that in the DAT presentation. And then next semester will be definitely a little bulkier. So we'll be going through the ADSAS application process, the personal statement process, dental school interviews, ASDA, and maybe even recovering from a bad grade, which we talk about, but I don't think we've ever had a meeting dedicated to. So like I said, the next meeting will be a student panel. So if you'd like to participate or potentially participate, we're looking for about 8 to 10 upperclassmen that represent a wide range of majors. Questions will be provided in advance, so don't worry, you won't be put on the spot. And even if your answer is maybe, please feel free to fill out this Google form and we will email you with more information soon. Once again, the link will be in the email. All right, so shifting gears a little bit. So I'd like to start off this year a bit differently, and this isn't meant to scare anyone. This isn't meant to invalidate anyone's hardships. It's simply something that we should all be aware of as we trek down the pre-dental path. So what do I mean by dentistry is a privilege? So applying to dental school itself is a privilege. I have done the math myself countless times. When you add up the hours of unpaid shadowing, volunteering, studying, application, and DAT costs, it equates to a lot of money. Not everybody has equal footing in pursuing this field because the process of getting there is both financially and emotionally draining and difficult. Not everyone has financial support from their family and often are forced to choose between paying rent or studying for 6 hours for the DAT. Some folks are at an inherent disadvantage and no amount of hard work can virtually fix that. So be cognizant of the fellow pre-dents in this virtual room, but also recognize that there are many folks who are not in this room. Not because they are not as capable, but because they don't have some of the same privileges as us. On top of that, receiving dental care is also a privilege. As future professionals, we cannot operate on the assumption that everyone has equal access to oral health care. We must actively challenge our implicit biases when we treat patients who don't look like us, speak like us, act like us, or dress like us. Due to systemic issues that are deeply ingrained in our healthcare system, no one is on an equal playing field when it comes to receiving adequate care. And in fact, the #1 unmet healthcare need in the nation for children is oral health. So, long story short, I'll leave it with this question. How will you challenge the status quo as a future dental professional? And on that note, I would like to introduce the Service, Education, and Activism in Dentistry Club, which is also called SEED. The president is Owner, and he should be speaking in a moment.
Hey, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Hey guys, I'm Owner. I'm the co-president of SEED. Lily kind of beautifully stated that last slide in terms of us kind of being aware as undergraduates at OSU and as hopeful future dentists that we are kind of in a position of power and position of privilege here at OSU, where we can kind of take a step back, educate ourselves, kind of provide some service and volunteer to our local community, and kind of understand first locally, then by educating ourselves nationally on the state of the healthcare system, how it right now is super disadvantageous to minorities, impoverished communities. The unemployment rate is super high right now for obvious reasons. People's health and safety right now is super low for obvious reasons. And is it a time like now for a club like SEED, in collaboration with a lot of the efforts actually of Pre-Dent Club, of kind of educating ourselves and being aware of the fact that we have power right now as students, and as well as in the future as dentists, to impact our local communities, advocate in kind of upper areas, whether it be through the ODA, ADA, going to meetings, conferences. You kind of have a lot of power in what you say and what you can do in the future. So be aware of that. And our club focuses on kind of giving us that first step in educating ourselves as undergraduates and what we should expect in the future when it comes to the healthcare system, whether it's, through the insurances that we might provide, Medicare, Medicaid, the population base that we can serve possibly better than can be served right now, specifically impoverished and minority communities. And so throughout the year, we're going to have some panels, some guest speakers, hopefully the volunteer organizations, the food shelters, the drop-in shelters around here they are pretty open to have volunteers already, but as COVID's kind of a risk right now, as we kind of get through this year and into next year, hopefully volunteering opens up more and more so we can provide you guys the opportunity to get into the community. And then we're just really looking forward to meeting everyone, the new people, and especially kind of upperclassmen that have never had the chance or would like to possibly explore SEED. It really is just a great supplement to the efforts already made by Pre-Dent Club. If you're already interested in service, volunteering, educating yourself, it's just another great opportunity to do so. Also, for a lot of the new people, it's a great thing to add to your resume, involvement with another club, potential leadership opportunities in the future, as there's always seniors and juniors kind of moving in and out of positions. And also, I've been looking at the GroupMe and I love the grind of everyone trying to sell their books. I totally get that you want to make money off the books that you've used in DAT, and I totally get that. But if you ever have struggles or difficulty finding the people to sell it to, our SEED organization has a DAT library, which is available to all of you and to all our members as well, where you guys can, in like a traditional library system, free of charge, go to our online kind of Excel spreadsheet where we have all of our available materials. You guys can sign things out for several months, prepare for the DAT. You can recheck them if no one ever needs them. And it's kind of just a great resource for all of you guys if you don't have the means to pay for things, or if you kind of have things laying around and you really can't find the person to sell it to. So this is my name on the screen. You guys can DM me and GroupMe if you're interested. I can always add you to our email list, and we're going to have an email coming out pretty soon of our first meeting and our plans for the year. So if anyone's interested, please feel free to DM me, and I'll probably be putting a link to the DAT library in our GroupMe, and I can talk to Lily if the demand is there. We can always put it on the emails too if people would like that, just to make it easier to find for people. But yeah, thanks for letting me talk, and hopefully everyone has a great year. Hopefully everyone has a safe and good start of this year too.
Thank you, owner. All right, so with that said, how has/will COVID-19 impact things? And to be completely honest, we don't know. And I'm sure that's not the answer you want to hear, and I'm sure that's the answer you've heard way too many times. So as for the application process, it will definitely be slightly different. But something to keep in mind is that we are all in the same boat. There has already been one successful round of applicants this past summer, so if they can do it, we can too. Schools are seemingly accommodating, it seems. They have added a section in the application that allows you to discuss the impact that COVID has had on you. And if you're really concerned, I recommend reaching out to the specific school's admissions office or via email/phone call. As for the club, meetings this year will obviously be virtual, or at least this semester. We will certainly be hosting some virtual events such as executive board office hours on off Wednesdays and occasional other days throughout the semester. And as new opportunities arise, we will be sure to address them either in the meetings or in the emails or both. As of now, it's kind of a play it by ear situation. Okay, so as for shadowing, that's definitely something that is tricky in the moment with all of the health concerns and measures that are being taken. If anyone in the club has had luck or success with shadowing in Columbus or service opportunities, feel free to send a message to everyone in the pre-dental group chat or individually to one of the e-board members. And then as for service, Sarah will say a few words.
Okay, so like owner was saying, it is pretty hard trying to find volunteering opportunities right now with like COVID and how much it's impacted like in-person opportunities. So I know like we've in the past served out like Star House and My Family Pantry, but unfortunately Star House right now, as of right now, aren't accepting volunteers, but My Family Pantry is. But for right now, we're just gonna see first if we're allowed to even go in and how many people we can bring. So not everything's set in stone, but I'm in the works of setting up potential dates for the future. And then I'm also trying to find some like virtual opportunities that we could potentially do, or like more distant ones where we could like pass out materials to like make blankets and then meet up somewhere so I can collect them and then I can take them to the place we're donating to, like stuff like that. But as Lily was saying, like if anyone knows of any opportunities that are in person or like even virtual ones, please reach out to me. I would love to hear anything. And or even like, I know it's like how I was saying, it's like super hard for like like a group of us to go, even like going finding places yourself and like maybe just like going to your own places like on your own. But yes. Oh, and then sorry, this is like I'm all over the place. For I know last semester we were doing continuing education at the dental school, and they don't have any for this fall, but they have some for next spring. So that will pick up next semester, hopefully, if it's in person. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And then also mock interviews, Sasha will say a few things about that.
So for those of you that don't know what mock interviews is, it's basically one of the dental fraternities. They like host like fake interviews for people who are getting ready to actually interview with dental schools. So it's just like good practice for people. So we're still gonna have mock interviews this year. It'll just look very different because of COVID. So they'll be over Zoom, which is fine because all the dental schools are pretty much on Zoom. So it'll just simulate that interview aspect better. We don't have any dates set yet, but as soon as we get them, we'll email them out to you guys. It'll probably be late September, early October. And then they are saying because it is over Zoom, there's going to be limited capacity. So we'll only open it up to people who actually applied this cycle. And then if there's extra space, we can open it up for more people. But we might just leave it for people in this cycle because they actually like need the experience like right away, or seniors, either. Both of them will be included in that. So yeah, more information hopefully to come soon on that.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so this is the QR code for the DAT study group for this upcoming year. So if you're taking or planning on taking the DAT in the next few months or next summer, feel free to join this group. It's a very accessible and awesome resource because maybe not everybody knows the answer, but you can all collectively find it. So once again, this link will be in the email, but I'll leave it up for 5 more seconds. And then likewise, if you're applying in the next cycle, so summer 2021, feel free to join this GroupMe. It is also a great resource, especially right now with all of the uncertainty. It's really nice to have people who are kind of on the same wavelength as you.
To interject here a little bit, there's also a group we advocate for a lot called DAT Bootcamp. And they have a Facebook page that has a lot of resources in their pages on their like Facebook page that helps you with like applications, interviews, and the DAT. So that's also a great resource if you want to join that on Facebook.
Yes, that's a great point. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming to see so many people experiences, but it's really nice to have a community. So yeah, they're called DAT Bootcamp on Facebook. And then just quickly, if you would like frequent updates and whatnot, feel free to follow OSU Pre-Dental on the Instagram page. And that might be honestly the quickest way to receive information. And then that's it. Thank you for a great first meeting. The next meeting, once again, will consist of dental school prerequisites, as well as the student panel about differing majors. So with that said, the next meeting will be tailored more toward first and second years, but absolutely anyone is welcome. But that's just something to keep in mind. And we can definitely open up the floor if anyone has questions or unanswered questions in the chat and wants to speak up, feel free to do so or use the chat. Let's see. Here's the first slide again, just in case anyone needs it. And once again, you can email any of the executive board members if you want more information. And if you need to join the emailing list at this point, email wang.9795, which is Joanna, our secretary, and that should sort things out.
Lily, I don't know if you can see, there's a question in the chat about, do we need to notify anyone after we Venmo our dues?
No, you don't need to notify anyone. As long as you wrote your name, number in the subject, you should be good.
Yeah, and
oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say that if you guys haven't Venmo'd those yet, please do so as soon as possible. Soon we're gonna be cross-referencing our current email list with the Venmo list and unsubscribing people that haven't paid. So please do so whenever you're able, or if you feel like that is something you're not financially able to do this semester, please go ahead and contact Lily and talk to her directly. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm in charge of the Venmo account, and so once we get your name and dot number, I will check it with the email list and mark your name off, and then once I like it, that'll be kind of your confirmation that we got it. And you'll have that within like the next few days. I check it periodically. So wait like 2 days before like emailing us, but everything should be in place after you get that like.
So it's asking for the last 4 digits. There should be a button that says, no, I do not want to confirm. If that button is there, you can just press it. But if it's not, then I will write your name down and let you know. Does any other e-board member have anything that they want to mention? Okay, cool. Everyone's free to go if they'd like. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Nice seeing everyone. Thank you for coming.